what's up guys? So it's another day back out in the garage working on the GTO. Today's plan is to throw the fenders back on, kind of bolt the car back together, start checking it over, seeing any areas that have to be fixed, which might have to get re-primed again, and then we'll be back to blocking again. But for today we're going to probably try to get the front fenders back on and get some of the stuff bolted back on and aligned up so that we can block it again, and then like I said, we'll start checking it over for any spots that need to be fixed up. So let's get to work.
Son of a bitch. Get out of here, you fucking flies. There's a fly over the headlight, Tony. We got flies coming for us. Fuck out of here, you flies.
I've been kind of looking over the car and I've seen some stuff, like I think I said in the last video, this right here, this edge of the quarter panel needs a little bit, but I also did do a little bit of body work here just before I re-primed it. And then I was taking a look over on this side. I kind of noticed a few spots on this side. It's very frustrating when you know, you think that it's good and you think you're ready to go, and even though it does look really good overall, you know, looking at it, there's definitely some spots that I'm not happy with. And that's not just the small like pinholes and things. I mean, maybe I'm just being super extra picky. It's getting to be, you know, after all the time I've been working on this car, and yeah, I took some time off of working on it, unfortunately, but I really want to get it done this year and get it out on the street. And like I said, it's getting frustrating that I'm checking it over and finding stuff that still has to be fixed, and that means I have to do more work, which I don't really want to do. But it's all like small things. It's just, like I said, it's frustrating, guys. But yeah, let's get these fenders back on. Just a little bit of masking tape so that hopefully I don't scratch everything up, because obviously these fenders are coming on and off multiple times in the next month or whatever as I get things ready to paint and whatnot. Another thing is, priming in here definitely makes a mess. I mean, there's overspray everywhere, which is not overspray that's like stuck to anything, but it's like dust basically. So yeah, definitely should, next time I do anything major painting wise in here, maybe hang some plastic along this complete side to sort of block this area off so that it doesn't get paint. I mean, my car's covered, but the cover's covered in dust. Hopefully I can do this without dropping them, smashing them, and then giving myself even more work to do. I'll tell you, I did screw something up, and that's when I had the fenders on before, I had them all lined up really nice, shimmed and gapped, and when I took it apart, I didn't really pay attention to how many washers I had in there to gap everything, so that was kind of my bad. I should have definitely probably took the washers and put them in like Ziploc bags with which one was which kind of deal, but it doesn't have to be exact for right now. Kind of just get it on and get it lined up so that it's more or less where it needs to be, just for the block sanding purposes. You'd be amazed at how much just tightening some bolts up moves everything around a lot. That bolt kit that I bought did come with a whole bunch of these fender shims, so that makes it a little easier to line things up. It definitely looks nice, all one color again. It's been a while since I've had it to that point, so I can definitely say I like that. I'm really tempted to just put it back together right now and leave it in primer, because at least then it would be done, or at least it would be together. Maybe not done, but it would be a car. Okay, I think that's pretty good for now. I can always readjust it a little more later. Carefully. That's pretty good for right now. I think I'll have to put some shims in the backside. So both fenders are back on. I put the headlight bucket on this side. See how that looks. Kind of looks like a car, actually. So I'll take you around, show you all the way around. Kind of screwed up here. I put the spoiler down on that glass rack thing, and some of the foam stuck to it. I guess it wasn't dry enough. Here's a side you guys have probably never seen. So I got it pretty good. I mean, the fender gaps aren't perfect, but obviously the fenders are coming off again anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And there's the front end. Yeah, so she's starting to look like a car, kinda. I kind of don't even want to, I want to put it together right now. I want to get the interior out here, the weather stripping, and just put it together like this, because it actually looks good. It looks like a car. Once I start sanding on it again, who knows what it's going to look like. But I'm going to go in the house, come back out here tomorrow after work, and start checking over the car for where I have to fix up. I've kind of taken a look. There's a couple spots, nothing too crazy, not like high and low spots, just some of the spots like where I did body work and I kind of missed a little bit, and you couldn't really notice before it was in primer. And then I also bought this, this is that 2-part glazing putty stuff that I bought right here. So it has a hardener, and that's what I'm going to use to fix all the little minor imperfections. But I know I'm getting frustrated because I look at it and I say that there's still stuff that has to be fixed, but really it's not that much or that crazy. It's just, you know, like I said, I'm getting frustrated working on this thing. So yeah, we'll get back at this tomorrow. Out here working on the car again. So what I'm going to do today is check the car over, kind of come up with any spots that need to be repaired or fixed with that 2-part polyester filler. So what I did is I set my light up here, this one right here, and as you can see, it puts a big brightness, plus I can lift it up like this, etc. So what I'm going to do is look over the whole car. I got a roll of tape, and I'm going to mark spots. So like I already said, here are those little pinholes. So I'm going to take the tape, if I can find the end, right here. Even though I know that this is a spot that has to be fixed, I'm just going to mark it there. So now I know that that's a spot I have to go back to. And then like there's this little one here I showed you guys last time, that one too. So I'm going to go over all of those spots and find what I need to mark that needs to be fixed. I mean, it would help if I had lights on the side of the garage wall maybe, but I also have this light here which is super bright, so I can actually go, you can actually go like this and really get a good idea. And there's a little spot right there. I need to put a piece of tape there, and we'll just go along, kind of checking all the areas. There. And we'll go back over here. I mean, that big light is nice, but this is nice because, oh, there's more. I'm amazed that there's so many pinholes in the body filler here. I guess they say if you mix it up too much. You can get air in there. Okay, here's kind of a spot. So far, a lot of these spots are just small little spots in the filler. Nothing crazy. I see here, I must not have finished sanding this crack here, so I'll have to do a little sanding in there. Not a big deal, but of course, like I said before, this is one of these things where it looked good before I primered it. As you guys saw in the last video, I guess, when I redid the doors and kind of went over them and fixed some stuff on the doors. So the door is actually good. There's nothing really on the door that has to be done. Here it's just stuff that I guess I thought was good and I missed. There's a little something right here that I don't like that I'm going to have to look at. And then there's also kind of like right here, there's a little bit that I have to kind of work. This area here and this area here, plus this on the other side, are kind of the like worst spots, the spots that I have to really go through. The rest of it is actually pretty good overall. Okay, so we'll move over there and we'll check that fender. I don't know, this light helps, but this little one here is even better for this kind of stuff. So you can really get a good look here. See, I think there's a little bit here, but I think that'll come out in the high build, sanding the filler. I'm really just looking for the stuff that's deep, that won't, no primer or sanding is really going to take care of it. It's a little bit in there. Overall, that looks pretty good. All right, we'll move to the other side. All right, so I ended up doing this side, so you can see how many spots. Of course, once again, the doors, there's one little spot, but the door is actually really good. This fender, which considering, like I said before, I'd only done body work on it, and this is the first primer coat, it's actually pretty good. All these spots here, here, all these, this one, that one, those are just little pinholes in the body filler. Right here, I don't know, I must not have sanded it good. There's a little kind of like a line right here. I don't know, you probably can't see it, but there's a little bit of a, it must have been in the body filler. I can probably just fix that with that same glazing putty, so that's good. On this rear quarter, it's the same thing. All this little stuff here is just pinholes. Same with back there, couple. Trunk lid's actually pretty good. Up here is good. And then just like on the other side here on this wheel well lip right here, I gotta do a little bit more sanding. The line is just weird. Here it's a little too pointy when it should be rounded off. And then down there, there's a little something that looks weird. Overall, there's not too much. Most of it is just, I'm gonna use that 2-part polyester putty stuff. So that's what's next. All right, guys, so we're gonna mix up some of this stuff. So it's basically just the same as a body filler. Just I'm not gonna mix too much because I'm only gonna do a little bit. I'll just test it out first. A little bit of hardener in there. Don't have to go too crazy. I got these metal squeegees, so I'm gonna try them because I figure what I really want to do is kind of just like, here's the little hole. I just kind of want to go so that I don't leave a lot on the body, so there's not a lot to sand after. So let's mix this up and we'll go put some on. We'll start with this one here. Just a tiny like that. giving me a hard time, guys. Okay, that one really sucked. All the other ones were going good. That one sucked. Well, I think the real problem is I put too much hardener in there because it's already getting hard. I guess it was a small amount. I put way too much. That's why it started already clumping up on that one spot. So I only got one there done and those couple little ones. So I'll have to mix up some more and then I'll fill in all these other ones. So I got all those parts filled in, all those little spots. There and there. And then I also did around. There was a little something on the spoiler and the spots here. And then I did here and all those ones up there, which were all like pinholes in the body filler. And then I did the couple on over there. The ones that I didn't do yet, which are like there, there, here, and then the other side, and then up here. I need to sand those first because I think some of those areas don't need anything. They just need a little extra sanding. So once this stuff is dry, I will sand everything at once and then add some more of this as necessary to those other spots. And then those spots will be ready to be reprimed and then it'll be ready to get blocking. So it's the next day. I let everything dry. Received this from FedEx. I ordered it from Summit. It came from Original Parts Group, and it pretty much just covers this whole opening so that it looks nicer. I actually have the factory decal put on. I'm not 100% sure if it goes there or there. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I can put it wherever I want. And the factory probably put it pretty much wherever they wanted to. But this car actually doesn't look like it ever came with this. So I don't know if this was optional. I'm assuming maybe it was. I've actually looked at some pictures of like 71 GTO Judges even that don't have it and are like original low mileage cars. But then I've seen ones that do have it. So I really like it. I think it looks good. It really closes in all that, makes it look nice. And so I don't really care whether it came with it or not. So that's on there for now. And yeah, we're gonna get sanding all these spots and we'll see how everything turns out. What I'm using here is my Durablocks. I'll use this small one and this one. And I got some 220 grit sandpaper on there. So that's what I'm gonna use to sand all these spots. And then like I said, once all these spots are sanded, I'll probably mix up some primer and go over all those little areas with primer again, and then it'll be ready to block sand. But I'm gonna fix like all these little areas where the tape still is. Everything's gonna get fixed, reprimed, and then we'll get down to hopefully what's gonna be the final blocking. And then once I get it blocked and it's good, or I hope it's good, then my plan is to go buy the paint and I'm gonna pull it all apart, doors off, fenders off, paint all the jams. Like this has to be painted, inside the doors, all inside here that needs to be painted. The door jams, trunk jam, under the trunk, all that stuff I'm gonna paint and then reassemble the car and it'll be ready to get painted. Should be able to see if I get in close enough, maybe. You can see those little two blue dots right there and right there. That's kind of where those little low spots were, or chips, or whatever you want to call them. So basically, most of this blue stuff gets sanded off, and then you're only going to be left with, you know, filling in those little tiny holes. So yeah, no, so far the ones that I've sanded have sanded really nice. So we'll just keep going and see what happens. I'm trying not to sand too hard. Like they already took the primer right off, which is fine, but I'm trying to just take that blue stuff off without actually taking off a bunch of the primer before I block everything. Yeah, that one's good. Very tiny. And we'll continue on. All right, so I got all this side sanded. Everything turned out really good. Everything's sanded up nice. At least I think so. I can't really see the little imperfections anymore. They're all flush, which is what we want. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna sand this area here where I have this tape. There's like a line here, which I guess is when I did some body work on there. So I'm not sure if just blocking it a bit with the sandpaper is gonna take it out, or if I'm gonna have to add some of this filler. So I'm gonna get the sandpaper, I'm gonna sand kind of in this area right here. we'll see what happens, and if we have to, we'll add some of this filler. Super weird. I said it's just like right here. Actually, let me give it a light sanding. You can kind of see where it stops. Right here, just a little bit of like a low spot. And hopefully maybe if I sand it, the primer has filled that little bit in, but we'll see if it starts disappearing as I sand or not. I can also sand through the filler underneath and smooth it out a bit, because maybe I just missed a little bit or didn't notice it. It's so hard to tell before it has like a coat of primer on it like this. Well, let's get back to sanding. Well, it's actually starting to disappear, so we shouldn't have to add anything here, which is good. If you can sand it, and whatever you find that you don't like this, disappears, then you're in good shape. Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. Now you can see that that line that was there before is gone. So that's good, because like I said, I was worried that it was in the body filler, but I guess it must have just been very slight, and that's what this high build primer does. It fills stuff like that in because it goes on very thick and allows you to be able to block it out. So that's good now. Now we'll move on to those 3 at the back, figure out what's up with those. And I'm trying to get this side kind of straightened out first, then I'll push the car over and move on to the other side. So I got all these areas here sanded. As you can see, it's sanded through the primer in a few spots, which is fine. I ended up sanding this down there is good now. I still have to do here a little bit of an imperfection I didn't like. I also went to put this decal on. I thought it'd be cool to put it on, and I noticed it's not the right decal. It's actually for a manual transmission. So that means either I have to put a manual transmission in now, or I gotta buy a new sticker. So I'll probably buy a new sticker, because a new sticker is only $8, and a manual transmission would cost me thousands of dollars, I'm sure. But yeah, that kind of sucks, but oh well. We'll have to order one of those up. So yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm gonna start sanding this corner here right away, and then move on to the other side. I think this area here is good now. I think it was just more a matter of I hadn't sanded the body filler quite enough, and it was a weird edge, but I sanded it and I think it should be good now. So I'm gonna sand this one spot and then push the car over and work on the other side. All right, so I got all this stuff done. I moved the car over. I ended up doing the other side. So pretty much I just had to do the same thing, sand the spots. Here turned out really good, got rid of all those pinholes. Had to sand a couple spots here and there. The wheel well lip edge here, it needed a little bit of sanding, kind of like what I did on that front fender. A few spots over here. All in all, it turned out pretty good. So I think it's pretty much ready to reprime now. So I'll be doing that in the next video, and then getting ready to start block sanding it. So that's gonna be it for this one, guys. So like always, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Make sure you click the notification bell so you get notified of all the new videos when they come out, and we'll check you later.